What's up, fight fans? I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and welcome to MMA Weekly's live coverage of the UFC 277 official weigh-ins. That's right, tomorrow night, Amanda Nunes in a rematch with Julianna Pena. You remember the first one, the upset heard around the world. It was an unbelievable performance by Peña. She submitted her, choked her out. The last time they met, it was history being made, and will it be made again? That's the question by Peña, or will Nunes get her belt back and be a two-division champion again? Underdog bettors made an absolute killing last time. You could possibly do it again with Peña. UFC 277, a little over 24 hours away. If you're still on the fence about where to play, make your next bet with MyBookie. That's right. You can take our analysis or choose from dozens of real fighter predictions so you can make an informed decision and get that cash coming in. MyBookie gives you skin in the fight and the picks you need to win. Use promo code WEEKLY50. It's really simple. WEEKLY50. Why 50? I'm going to tell you in a minute. WEEKLY50 to grab yourself a deposit bonus with MyBookie and make your bets now. That's promo code WEEKLY50 for a half deposit match up to $1,000. That means you bet 100, you get 50 to play with for free. You bet 1,000, you get $500 to play with for free. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. UFC 277 with MMA Weekly. What's up, fight fans, and welcome to UFC 277 coverage, the official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie. Go to MyBookie, use the code WEEKLY50 right now to bet on the fights this week. You get a half deposit match up to $1,000. That's right, half deposit match up to $1,000 with the code WEEKLY50 at MyBookie. The UFC 277 official weigh-ins about to get underway. Nunes and Peña, Kai Kara-France and Brandon Moreno, belts on the line this weekend in Dallas. We're live on MMA Weekly right now.
Exactly. Now they'll actually that's where
Salt Lake.
They on this one?
Have the t-shirt, have the t-shirt.
All right, thank you all for being here for the official weigh-in for UFC 277, Peña versus Nunes 2, and we will begin with the interim flyweight championship, as we call on the former undisputed UFC flyweight champion and now #1 ranked contender, the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. $124.5, the official weight.
Let's go!
For Brandon Moreno.
Now, punch straight ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Think back. Easy one.
Also ready to weigh in early this morning, his opponent, the #2 ranked flyweight contender, taking part in his first UFC title fight, Ankalaev. 124.5, the official weight for Kai Kata France.
2, 1, take back.
And with that, your co-headliner for the UFC's interim flyweight title is now official. All right, next athlete to the scale competing in a prelim in the UFC's welterweight division, Blood Diamond.
One blood. Blood.
169.5, the official weight for Blood Diamond.
2, 1, take back.
All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, he is the 6th ranked UFC flyweight contender competing live on the main card on pay-per-view, Alex Perez. $125.5, the official weight for Alex Perez.
4, 3, 2, 1, take back.
All right, next athlete to weigh in, competing in the UFC's lightweight division, Rafa Garcia.
Rafa.
$155
Right
for
ahead, Rafa. Up there.
Rafa Garcia.
3,
Rafa.
2, 1, take back.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC women's bantamweight division, Ji-Yeon Kim. $135, the official weight for Ji-Yeon Kim.
4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, baby. Come on.
All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning in the UFC's welterweight division, the undefeated Michael Morales.
Straight ahead,
170.5, the official weight for Michael Morales.
2, 1, backwards.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also competing in the UFC's welterweight division and one half of the featured prelim. Live on ABC and ESPN, Matthew Semmelsberger. $171, the official weight for Matthew Semmelsberger.
3, 2, 1, thank you.
All right, next fighter to the scale is the 4th-ranked UFC flyweight contender competing live on pay-per-view, Alexandre Pantoja.
Straight ahead.
Official weight 125.5 for the cannibal, Alexandre Pantoja.
Thanks, babe.
All right, next fighter to weigh in the UFC's heavyweight division, representing Egypt and making his UFC debut, Hamdi Abdelwahab. $264.5 for Hamdi Abdelwahab.
3, 2, 1, take it.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also making his UFC debut here Saturday night in Dallas in the UFC's welterweight division, Adam Fugit.
Straight ahead, Adam. 5
for
seconds.
Adam
Camera.
Fugit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it. 7, 1.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also making his UFC debut here Saturday night in the UFC's light heavyweight division, Ihor Potieria.
Straight ahead, Ihor.
204, the official weight for Ihor Potieria.
2, 1. Thank you.
All right, next fighter to hit the scale in the lightweight division, Rafael Alves.
Don't scare us like that. No turns.
155.5.
Straight ahead,
155 and a half, the official weight for Rafael Alves.
2, 1. Thank you, baby.
Woo! All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing live on pay-per-view. He is the 4th ranked UFC light heavyweight contender, Magomed Ankalaev.
Straight ahead, Magomed.
206, the official weight for Magomed Ankalaev.
2, 1. Thank you, baby.
All right, next athlete to the scale is one of the women around whom this fight card was built, the former UFC bantamweight champion and the present UFC featherweight champion, the Lioness Amanda Nunes.
Woo! You're looking like a lion right there.
135.
135, the official weight for Amanda Nunes.
2, 1. Thank you, baby. Your hair looks like a lion's mane right now.
That was strong, though.
Oh, nice bonito.
All right, next fighter to weigh in, the UFC's heavyweight division, competing live on ABC and ESPN, Dontel Mays.
Straight hand, Dontel.
255, the official weight for Dontel Mays.
3, 2, 1. Thank you, baby. Sergei.
All right, next fighter to hit the scale here in Dallas, the 11th ranked heavyweight in the world, competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow night, Sergei Pavlovich.
Hold on, Sergei. Where's my Sergei? Let's translate. Where's my Sergei?
254 and a half, the official weight for Sergei Pavlovich.
Now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. What's that weight, John?
We're watching the official weigh-ins for UFC 277 on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie. Use the code WEEKLY50 at MyBookie for a 50% half deposit match this week. Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara France have made weight. So has Amanda Nunes. 3/4 of the co-main and main event championship fights are official. Still waiting on Julianna Pena, Derrick, Lewis, and more. Right here on MMA Weekly from Dallas, the UFC 277 official weigh-ins.
Thank you.
Nunes, Anthony Lionheart-Smith, and Julianna Pena still to weigh in at the UFC 277 official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly. Don't forget, we'll be streaming live with our reaction show during the fights tomorrow night. The ceremonial weigh-ins this afternoon as well, right here on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie.
Let's go. Oh, just say Luciana. Anybody say Luciana, man. Anybody say Luciana, please. I just speed him up. Sometimes I can see people like watching me around the hotel, watching me around like Vegas, like acting, just smiling. People understand that I'm like this. I think they know. I did my job. I made myself more
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the light heavyweight division, Magomed. 205, the official weight for Nikolai Negumereanu.
2, 1, thank you.
All right, next fighter to the scale is the most decorated knockout artist in UFC history, the 5th ranked UFC heavyweight contender, the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis. $264.5, the official weight for Derrick Lewis.
1, thank you.
The Black Beast barely making it, 264.5. You know you're a big boy when you got a cut to make heavyweight. But Lewis and Pavlovich is official. Lewis 264.5, Pavlovich 254.5. The heavyweights throwing down Lewis at plus 115, Pavlovich at minus 145. At MyBookie, you get a 50% half deposit match up to $1,000 with the code Weekly50 right now for UFC 277. The official weigh-ins continuing on, still waiting for Anthony Lionheart-Smith, Julianna Pena, and others. Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara-France, 124.5 and 125.5. In weight, Amanda Nunes weighed in at 135.
Listen, bro, I benefit off you guys upgrading.
All right, fight fans, you're watching UFC 277 official weigh-in coverage on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie. Amanda Nunes, the rematch with Julianna Pena. Last time they met, one of the greatest title upsets in UFC history. Underdog bettors made an absolute killing. It wouldn't be the same this time. Lowest odds to get on Nunes in a long, long time. UFC 277 tomorrow night. If you're still on the fence about where to play, make your next bet with MyBookie. You can take our analysis, which I would, or choose from dozens of real fighter predictions so you can make an informed decision. MyBookie gives you skin in the fight and the picks you need to win. Use promo code WEEKLY50 to grab yourself a deposit bonus with MyBookie. Make your bets now. That's promo code WEEKLY50 for a half deposit match up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Great odds on Nunes, Derrick Lewis, an underdog. Lionheart Smith, the huge underdog against Ankalaev. Looking for some props there as well at MyBookie with the code WEEKLY50. The half deposit match up to $1,000. Lionheart Smith, Julianna Pena still to come. Moreno and France is official. Amanda Nunes has weighed in, so has Pavlovich and Derrick Lewis. Everyone has made weight so far. UFC 277, the coverage right here on MMA Weekly of the official weigh-ins rolling on. We'll have the ceremonials later today and our live reaction show streaming tomorrow night on MMA Weekly. UFC 277 from Dallas, powered by MyBookie.
Everybody there.
Who are you taking, fight fans? We're having fun in the chat room. Hop in there if you're not there. Who are you taking this weekend at UFC 277? Who do you think is going to win? Some good odds in there at MyBookie. Weekly 50 is the code. Derrick Lewis, the all-time knockouts leader, is an underdog. Anthony Lionheart Smith came so close to becoming the light heavyweight champ. He's been on a roll lately. He's a dog too, and you get the lowest odds you've had in a long time on Amanda Nunes, and I'm talking about Amanda Nunes at minus 275. We haven't seen that in.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a lightweight prelim live on ABC, ESPN, and E+, Drakkar Klose.
Straight ahead, baby.
155.5, the official weight for Drakkar Klose.
One. Thanks, baby.
Most of the fighters have weighed in for UFC 277. Still waiting on Anthony Lionheart-Smith, Julianna Pena, amongst others. Moreno and Kai Kara-France is official. Moreno 124.5, Kai Kara-France 125.5. You see the weights on the bottom here on MMA Weekly. Amanda Nunes 135, Derrick Lewis 264.5, Sergei Pavlovich 254.5. They both weighed in. We're almost done with the official weigh-ins here on MMA Weekly from UFC 277 in Dallas, powered by MyBookie. Use the code WEEKLY50 and get up to 50% or 50% half deposit match up to $1,000 from MyBookie.
What up, man?
Busy week in Dallas. We have the ceremonial weigh-ins coming up this afternoon. We'll be doing our live stream reaction show tomorrow night during the fights on MMA Weekly, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. I want to keep it here on MMA Weekly's YouTube. Wall-to-wall coverage of UFC 277. Listen, this is a huge rematch. I haven't seen the buzz. People have been complaining about this card. You have the greatest female fighter of all time with her back against the wall and her legacy on the line against a girl who is supremely confident she can come out and do exactly what she did the last time, wear her out and beat her again. Everything on the line for the GOAT, Amanda Nunes. She's got a lot to prove against Julianna Pena, and Brandon Moreno wants another shot at Davison Figueiredo. Kai Kara-France wants a shot at the gold. That's a big one too. Derrick Lewis coming off the big loss, the all-time knockouts leader. This is a great card coming up tomorrow night in Dallas. UFC 277. Keep it here on MMA Weekly for complete coverage from Dallas, powered by MyBookie.
Scale is one of the women around whom this fight card was built. The former UFC bantamweight champion and the present UFC featherweight champion, the Lioness Amanda Nunes.
Here's a replay of Amanda Nunes on the scale, in case you missed it here on MMA Weekly. Lioness with the blonde highlights, looking like a lion.
Thank you, baby. Your hair looks like a lion.
A lot of questions about Amanda coming into this fight. Does she still have that fire? When a fighter loses that, like I thought Joanna Jędrzejczyk did before her last fight against Zhang Weili, when she retired in the octagon afterward, one-sided fight in the rematch. It's hard to get that back. Amanda has become a parent. She dominated everyone for so long. We've seen it with Anderson Silva. We've seen it with everyone except Georges St. Pierre. Here comes another fighter to the scale on MMA Weekly.
All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in a prelim. Live on ABC and ESPN in the lightweight division, Drew Dober.
Good job, babe. Thank you.
Fan favorite Drew Dober, the co-main on the prelims with Rafael Alves is set.
Right.
Took a long time.
You are skinny, baby.
Took
but
a deep
tomorrow,
breath in between.
You're gonna get all that back.
I don't know if I've ever seen that technique with the pen. Tapping that bottom part of the scale with the pen 100 times.
That must be off.
You're watching live coverage of the UFC 277 official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly. Still to come, Alex Moreno in that welterweight prelim headliner. Matthew Semmelsberger already made weight. Amanda Nunes, Brandon Moreno, Kai Kara France all made weight. Still waiting on Julianna Pena. Anthony Smith still to come. Ankalaev made weight. Pantoja and Perez have made weight. Almost all of the main card fighters and the preliminary card on ESPN and ABC have made weight. It's UFC 277 live coverage on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie. Use the code Weekly50 to get a half deposit match of 50% up to $1,000 from MyBookie. We got some good odds on Amanda Nunes, Derrick Lewis, an underdog. Lionheart Smith is a huge underdog. Decent odds on Drew Dober as well. Brandon Moreno, a favorite over Kai Kara France, who's about plus 180 right now. If you like him, some good bets out there, some props as well with MyBookie. Keep it here. Lionheart Smith, Julianna Pena, and more. Alex Moreno still to come up to the scale in Dallas. UFC 277 official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly. If you haven't jumped in the chat room yet, got some good action going on in there. Some great fans dropping the knowledge up in the chat room on our YouTube right now. Give us a follow, like, subscribe. MMA Weekly's YouTube. Check us out on Instagram as well as TikTok. MMA Weekly, Facebook, huge following there, all kinds of content. Here you go, smash or smish, smish. What do you guys think of Khamzat and Nate Diaz? Nate wanted that fight. You guys think Dana's trying to send him off the plank and end his UFC career with a bloodbath murder? But Nate wanted the fight. He wanted to fight Francis Ngannou. How do you not love Nate Diaz? Will this be his final fight in the UFC? God, I hope not. If not, I want to see him fight a lot more, but if it is his last fight in the octagon, he's got a tough one in Khamzat Chimaev. Man, that is brutal for Nate Diaz, but you know what? He's a G, and he'll keep walking forward. You know that no matter what. You're watching the UFC 277 official weigh-ins. Jim Greasehover, Call Me Grease. We're streaming live tomorrow night with our reaction show, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. The ceremonial weigh-ins coming up later today, I believe 5 Central, which would be 6 Eastern. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. Scott Peterson on site in Dallas, making it happen. Amanda Nunes has already made weight. Moreno and Kaikara France have made weight. Nunes and Pavlovich, we're still waiting on Lionheart Smith. Alex Moreno and Julianna Pena, the woman around whom this card was built, as John Anik will tell you, coming up when she hits the scale. Mad rush on the scale early as always. They come in spurts after that at the official weigh-ins. It's so tough to drain all the fluids out of your body, and then you put them right back in. UFC 277, live coverage of this official weigh-ins, powered by MyBookie on MMA Weekly.
I paid to train. And what? I don't have too many skills, so.
You are watching MMA Weekly's live coverage of the UFC 277 official weigh-ins from Dallas. Jim Grease, Albert Call Me Grease, Scott Peterson on site. Only a few more fighters left to weigh in. Anthony Lionheart-Smith and Julianna Pena among them. Our co-main event is official for the interim flyweight championship. Kai Kara-France looking to put gold around his waist, weighed in at 125.5. Brandon Moreno, the former champ, the assassin baby, 124.5. Amanda Nunes, the female GOAT, the lioness with the blonde highlights, looking to avenge that loss, the huge upset against Julianna Pena, weighed in at 135. Again, we're still waiting on Pena. Some other weights of note: Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast, as usual, barely getting in at heavyweight, 264.5. Sergei Pavlovich, his opponent, at 254.5. Drew Dober hit 155.5. Alex Perez made weight. The undefeated Michael Morales made weight. Matthew Semmelsberger and Alex Moreno made weight for their prelims main event on ABC and ESPN. Magomed Ankalaev made weight at 206 for his matchup against Anthony Lionheart-Smith. And again, we're still waiting on Lionheart-Smith, still waiting on Julianna Pena. Jim Grease, Hopper, Call Me Grease on MMA Weekly. We have the ceremonial weigh-ins coming up this afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 Pacific. And our live stream reaction show tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on MMA Weekly. Follow us, subscribe us, hit that bell, get in the chat, throw some comments down. We got a good one going in there right now, getting everybody stirred up. Got some great odds as well. Derrick Lewis, an underdog. Lionheart-Smith, a huge underdog. Kai Kara-France at plus 170. Smish that like and subscribe right now. Some live dogs on this card, some prop bets and parlays as well that you can play with MyBookie. Proud sponsor of MMA Weekly's coverage of UFC 277. Use the code WEEKLY50 with MyBookie. They're going to give you 50% of your bet. That's right. You bet 100, they're going to give you 50 bucks. You bet 1,000, they're going to give you 500. It's up to 1,000 bucks with MyBookie and MMA Weekly. MyBookie, of course, is the place to get the action in on the UFC fights. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Lionheart-Smith, Julianna Pena still to come from Dallas. The UFC 277 official weigh-ins rolling on with MMA.
with the interim flyweight championship, as we call on the former undisputed UFC flyweight champion, and now #1 ranked contender, assassin baby Brandon Moreno.
Here's a look at Brandon Moreno weighing in earlier. MMA Weekly replay from UFC 277.
.124 and a half, the official weight.
What do you guys think in the chat? What do you think of Brandon Moreno, the assassin baby? Are you a fan? You're not a fan? I really like the guy. Really cool dude.
Also ready to weigh in.
But that last
this morning
fight against
is
Figueiredo.
The #2 ranked flyweight contender taking part in his first UFC title fight, Ankalaev.
Here comes Kai Kara France at +170. Live dog. Roo, roo.
.124 and a half, the official weight for Kai Kara France.
2, 1, take back.
And with that, your co-headliner for the UFC's interim flyweight title is now official. And the present UFC featherweight champion, the Lioness Amanda Nunes.
Hair looking like a lion right there.
135.
135, the official weight for Amanda Nunes.
2, 1, thank you, babe. Your hair looks like a lion's mane right now.
Your hair looks like a lion's mane. I love that lady. I don't know her name. She's the one who takes the pictures of the photos of the fighters. Pictures of the fighters. Did I say pictures of the photos? I meant pictures of the fighters. Amanda made weight. There's little girl with her. Pretty cool, right? Amanda Nunes, the lioness with the lion's mane. There's a live look at the scale in Dallas on MMA Weekly UFC 277. Kai Kara France with back-to-back-to-back wins. Imperial Walmstreet, Cody Garbrandt, and Oscar Askarov. The Askarov win was really impressive, if you ask me. I like him a lot. Moreno's a tough cookie, though. Beat him by unanimous decision late in 2019. Amanda Nunes, of course, looking to avenge a loss, as is Kai Kara France, who's looking to put UFC gold around his waist for the first time to join his teammates and former teammates, Israel Adesanya and Alexandre Volkanovski. City Kickboxing, Dan Hooker as well out of there. Smash that subscribe button, the like button, hit the bell. It's MMA Weekly on YouTube, UFC 277 in Dallas. Ceremonial weigh-ins, we'll have those live later today, as well as our live stream reaction show tomorrow night with Jeff Kane and me. I'm Jim Greasehopper, call me Grease, in case you haven't figured that out yet. What are you guys thinking about that main event? Will Amanda Nunes avenge her first loss in a long time? She's minus 275. When have we seen odds this tempting on Amanda Nunes? Amanda Nunes, what a parlay. Amanda by KO, but Julianna Pena, bigger, seemingly stronger, supremely confident, took everything Amanda had in that first round, the last fight, and came out, wore her out, and choked her out, but beat her on the feet first. She would have knocked her out had she not choked her out in that last one. It was a great performance by Julianna Pena. Amanda dominated early. The comeback by Pena. She became the champion. Great story. Dana White met her years ago in a gym in Las Vegas, and she told him, I'm going to be a UFC champion. Well, guess what? She is a UFC champion. How long would it last? We will find out tomorrow night in Dallas. We'll also find out if Kara France can avenge that loss to Moreno. and put that gold around his waist for the first time, or will the Assassin Baby get another shot at Davison Figueiredo and the undisputed championship at 125? Derrick Lewis and Sergei Pavlovich, the Black Beast, looking to add to his all-time knockout record. He's an underdog in this fight as well at plus 115. Anthony Lionheart Smith plus 385, the former championship contender, against Magomed Ankalaev. Those are the odds from MyBookie. Use the code WEEKLY50 at MyBookie and get a half deposit match of up to 50% with your first play at MyBookie from us at MMA Weekly and our good friends at MyBookie. UFC 277, the official weigh-ins. Scott, if you can hear me, how many fighters do we have left? Julianna Pena, Anthony Smith. Who else are we missing?
About 3, I think.
About 3 fighters, and then Scott can get everything posted and get out of there, get ready for the ceremonials a little bit later this afternoon. You're going to wait a long time for some fighters to hit the scale. It's difficult for some of them to make weight. It's down to the second with the science they use today to drain all that fluid out, and then they'll put it right back in and get ready for the ceremonials this afternoon and the fights tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. UFC 277, wall-to-wall coverage from Dallas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Don't miss this card. Don't miss our live streaming show tomorrow night on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie.
All right, next fighter to weigh in the UFC Women's Bantamweight Division, Jocelyn Edwards.
Where we have a little one that grosses like 50, that we get 10. Right.
137.5 for Jocelyn Edwards. That is a pound and a half over the bantamweight limit.
there's more staff.
Back on the scale after she dresses. $37.5.
If medically permitted, Jocelyn Edwards will have till the top of the hour, 11 a.m. local time.
Right there. 5,
To make
4,
weight.
3, 2, 1. Pass it.
So that, like, if somebody quits,
If after, if the doctor says she can do it. Still has till 11. So we go with 11.
I saw your
My whole thing.
I feel like it's going back.
Jocelyn Edwards has till the top of the hour, about 33 minutes to lose 1.5 pounds and make weight for her fight at UFC 277 tomorrow night. Jocelyn Edwards taking on Ji Young Kim, who has already made weight at women's bantamweight. Still waiting for Anthony Lionheart-Smith to hit the scale. He takes on Magomed Ankalaev in the opening fight of the main card at light heavyweight. Also, Julianna Pena, bantamweight champ. Amanda Nunes has already made weight at 135. You're watching the UFC 277 official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie from Dallas.
So, Jim, apparently, you know, back in Vegas, the fighters usually have another hour or so if they miss weight. But here in Dallas, apparently they only, the weigh-ins go from 9 to 11. So if they only have till 11. So if if Anthony Smith misses weight, he weighs in 5 minutes before 11 o'clock. He has 5 minutes to, they give him 5 more minutes. So they got to get it done with by 11 o'clock.
That's interesting, Scott, because you think about that. That's huge. Just the difference there in commissions, state to state. We talk about it all the time. It happened in Phoenix with Charles Oliveira missing weight, and it was not a title fight for him, although it was for Gaethje, and now he's got to go back and try to get the belt. Going state to state like this, it's interesting. I wonder, I mean, that's the responsibility of the fighters, right, and their teams to know those rules, and I wonder if they do.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know. But yeah, it's their responsibility to know. But yeah, state to state, those types of things can change.
Wow. That's to me still unbelievable that we don't have unified rules. I mean, imagine the Patriots playing the Chargers in New England. You have one set of rules, but they play in San Diego. You play under a different set of rules. Let's say you have 3 downs instead of 4, and the field's 90 yards instead of 100 like the CFL, and you're just playing under different rules in different cities. That's the equivalent. That's what it would be like if the NFL did that, or if the NBA, 3 steps was a travel in New York, but 2 steps is a travel in LA. I mean, this is something that's got to be fixed in our sport. It's been so long. You would think we'd have unified rules and regulations across the board, but we don't.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, guys. Well, we got 3 more. I thought it was 3 more before, but now we have 3 more left. So
Who's the third one, Scott? We got Peña, Lionheart Smith, and who else?
Orion.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Just follow the ticker at the bottom, and you guys will see. So we'll keep that updated. All right.
There we go. At the bottom of the screen, you see all those fights that are official. It's UFC 277 official weigh-ins on MMA Weekly.
What as human beings is a rough time, but as human beings, I'd be open which is because in a perfect world, I would like to see. Right. It's taken like 10 years. I would like to evaluate that to get because, you know, guys are fine. Obviously, right. On the edges.
Here comes Anthony Lionheart Smith.
All right, next athlete to the scale, charged with kicking off the pay-per-view main card live on ESPN Plus, the 5th-ranked UFC light heavyweight contender and former world title challenger, Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Hold for me real quick, babe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks, babe. Wait, they want me to try that. You wanna?
Unless he's wearing a cup.
Four leg
He's wearing his cup.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
206.
Yeah.
206, the official weight for Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Okay, pose again, because this time it'll be happier. Okay, now we'll get a better shot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, love.
Safe spot, man.
That branded body cover that put over Anthony Smith and Jocelyn Edwards reminds me of Daniel Cormier admitting he cheated in his Hall of Fame induction speech. That's right, in his video. So he admitted he cheated with the towel. Remember, he pushed down on the towel. He laughs about it. Everyone laughs it off. And all the stuff he talked about, Jones being a cheater, being the stand-up guy, the Olympian. Look, I love DC. I love you, DC, man, but that is hypocrisy at its finest right there. And everyone just laughs it off. And you notice the towels are gone now. The towels are gone after Daniel Cormier admitted that he cheated with the towel. I can't remember which fight it was and where. I know it was in New York, and he knew that he could probably get away with it there with the commission being a little green still, but it's still unbelievable to me that everyone just laughs it off when it's DC. But if anyone else had done it, if John Jones had done that, there would have been an assassination attempt on him. I mean, it's just crazy how people view things in this sport. But I'm not trying to hammer DC as much as I am just trying to point out, if you're going to project that squeaky clean image and you're going to rip on other people for quote-unquote cheating, although PEDs and, you know, making weight with the talent, and you could argue, you know, you miss weight, you miss weight. So I just would say that seeing that UFC body cover made me think of DC admitting he cheated with the towel, and you'll never see the towel again because of that. That's why you're seeing that UFC branded body cover at the weigh-ins. Aren't you happy you get this kind of inside information right here on MMA Weekly? Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Scott Peterson on site. The only one left, unless Jocelyn Edwards comes back and tries to make it before 12 noon Eastern time, would be Julianna Pena. I was getting hungry watching that guy eat his croissant back there in the background for 5 minutes as you continue with the live coverage here on MMA Weekly, UFC 277, powered by MyBookie. Get a 50% half deposit match right now at MyBookie. Lionheart Smith plus 385. Kai Kara France, plus 170. If you're betting straight up, you almost have to take dogs. But Amanda Nunes at minus 275, we haven't seen odds that low in a long time. How about a parlay with some of those fighters? How about some of the prop bets? They have a million of them at MyBookie. And again, you can get that right now, that 50% half deposit match with the code weekly50 at MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. It's Julianna Pena's world. It's her show. She's the champ. She's making the walk last tomorrow night. She's making the walk last today as well. My body is quitting on me, saying, feed me now. Keep it going in the chat, guys. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Hop in the chat and have some fun with us. I see that the MMA Weekly admins are jumping in. I'm jumping in. We have some great chatters in there. Denial218 has been going the whole time. Redman790. We got some great people going in the chat right now. What do you think of Lionheart Smith? How do he look to you? How about Amanda Nunes? She looks robotic. Does she still have the fire? Will she get her belt back? Will the legacy be restored for the female GOAT, the Lioness, or will Julianna Pena rip it away and rewrite and make her own history? Will Kai Kara France finally have UFC gold around his waist? He's looked great his last few fights. Or will Brandon Moreno get another shot at Davison Figueiredo in their epic string of wars? We will find out this weekend in Dallas. Tomorrow night, UFC 277. Still to come on MMA Weekly later today at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. It's the ceremonial weigh-ins from the arena in Dallas. And tomorrow night, UFC 277. Peña Nunes 2, Moreno, Kara France, Lionheart Smith, and Magomed Ankalaev, Derrick Lewis, and Sergei Pavlovich, and so many more big-time fights. You don't want to miss this one. You want to get your action in with a half deposit match up to $1,000 from MyBookie with MMA Weekly from Dallas at UFC 277. And Dana White's birthday weekend. I wonder where he went last night. Where would you go if you had $800 million? Where would you go for your birthday? Would you just go to a steakhouse like everybody else? Would you rent out the private room in a steakhouse? Would you land on top of the steakhouse in a helicopter? Interesting questions. If I had 800...
Any more weight, the bout will go on as scheduled. Edwards forfeits 20% of the fight purse.
All right, Edwards is forfeiting 20% of her purse, so she's not going to try to make weight again.
All right, Jocelyn Edwards deciding she's not going to make that.
Hear that.
That's okay, Scott. I would say that she's just, at that point, the fighters and their teams realize that the fluid's all been drained out and there's no more to give, so she's going to forfeit 20% of her purse, right, for weighing in at 137.5, and in case you're wondering, and that doesn't really affect the lines much, but Jocelyn Edwards is taking on Ji Yoon Kim at women's bantamweight. Kim already made weight. The only person left to step on the scale. She'll make the walk last tomorrow night. She makes it last today. Julianna Pena, the Venezuelan vixen. Man, Scott, she is so confident coming into this rematch against Amanda Nunes. She beat her in that first fight. She wore her out, beat her on the feet, choked her out, and she says there is no aura around Amanda Nunes. There's an aura around Dana White, she said. There's no aura around the Lioness. She's not afraid of her at all. We've seen it with Conor McGregor. We saw it with Weidman and Silva. When a fighter's not afraid of that aura, and when you don't feel that those nerves kicking in against someone like Nunes, that's a big advantage for Pena coming in, and for Nunes to not have the psychological advantage coming in that she had over so many of her other opponents, man. That's a tough thing for Amanda Nunes to overcome. I can't read her. She looks the same as she always looks. I can't get a read on her for tomorrow night. So if you wanna bet Amanda, you haven't had odds like this in a long time. But I just can't tell, because once a fighter loses it, and when I mean loses it, I don't mean physically. There you see the two of them facing off yesterday at the press conference. Amanda still has that intense stare, but Pena is not afraid. She said she'll punch, kick, bite, scratch, claw, whatever she has to do to keep that belt. The belt that Nunes has is the 145-pound belt. Pena had some comments about that too, saying there's nobody in that division. All the good fights are at 135. But look at Julianna Pena. Just look at her, guys. I mean, first of all, is she going to make weight? Or is there going to be another Charles Oliveira situation here? I'm just speculating. I probably shouldn't even do that. But, man, she looks jacked and she looks good. Zero fear of Amanda Nunes. And she's bigger. She looks stronger. But Amanda's beaten the bigger girls before. I'd like to see these two fight at 45. I don't know what you guys think. Let us know in the chat. The numbers are staying strong in there.
I prefer.
Nobody answered my question. Scott, what would you do if you had $800 million on your birthday? What'd you say?
I'd prefer my women at 105. So I'd want them to fight down lower. But yeah, I'd probably send my wife on a long trip around the world.
Oh,
and
ouch.
I'd just watch TV. I'm just kidding.
A long trip around the world. First class, at least? You're going to hook her up?
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding, honey, if you're watching.
First class ticket to nowhere, one way. I don't have that problem anymore. I'm good to go. It would just be me, myself, and I, and whoever I choose to be with me in the moment. Charles is still the champ. Are you guys in the chat surprised? Rogelio just put Charles still the champ. I wonder if you guys are surprised as I am that Islam got the shot so soon in a loaded division like that. They're pushing Islam and Hamzat really big right now. Monk Downs says Julianna is playing a psych game. She normally fights at 135. There is no reason for her to be late. She's just trying to create anxiety with Amanda. Interesting take, Monk. I don't know how I feel about that one.
We actually
I think she's huge.
We asked her to wait till the end so our numbers would be better on the live stream.
Oh, see, there you go. Scott's pulling strings there in Dallas. There's your answer, Monk. Scott said, Dana, I know it's your birthday weekend, but I need a favor. That's what you do with $800 million for your birthday. I would probably land on top of a steakhouse in a helicopter. I don't know that I'd go to a steakhouse. If I had $800 million and it was my birthday, I would be the ultimate Kardashian. It would be a birthday year, every year. Every day would be my birthday if I had $800 million. But Dana loves what he does so much. He would still do the same thing. Like he said, when they sold and he had hundreds of millions, all of a sudden he went and camped out in a hotel room and he thought to himself, hey, what am I going to do? Go sit on a beach? I'm going to keep doing what I love doing. I give him credit. That's just more proof, guys, that if you're doing what you love and it fills you up and you love going to work every single day and you hate the weekends and you hate the 3-day weekends, as Dana has said, he loves what he does so much, he just keeps doing it. That's when you know you're winning in life. Either that or you're insane, one or the other. I'm not sure which one, because I've never had that much and kept doing what I love doing. Because I would really learn to love sitting on a beach by myself very fast if I had $800 million. Why is everybody still hating on Charles in the chat? The champion's name is Charles Oliveira. I was doing it for a while, but after he beat Dustin the way he did and Gaethje the way he did, can't hate on Charles Oliveira anymore. Daniel 218, I'm with you. Being a troll must be a sad existence. But we need the trolls. We love the trolls. For without the trolls, it wouldn't be as fun in the chat rooms. Charles does not suck. Calm down. Script guy, come on. Charles does not suck. He's taking beatings from these guys. Thank you, Monk Downs. We really appreciate you. Don't miss the live stream tomorrow night. Jeff Kane, I think, is going to make his long-awaited triumphant return with the glorious hair, riding in on the horse.
Somebody's coming.
Somebody's coming. Julianna Pena, has to be her. Here comes the champ. Fashionably late. Camera fixated on that doorway.
I may be wrong.
Is it a false alarm? That's not Julianna Pena, in case you were wondering. Neither is that.
False alarm. False alarm. It's Drew.
Monk Downs, what you said about DC and his squeaky clean image is a joke. What do you mean, brother? Elaborate. James G, you are right. Thank you. Oh, it's a different James G. Islam is more overhated than Charles. When he walks in, usually there's a fighter behind him. Chris Costello and his team do a great job, by the way. UFC PR team. Chris been there a long time. Just look at the camera too. It's like you knew. It's like you knew, Chris. There's the stage and the scale at UFC 277. The numbers staying strong. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Strip Francis, let's make John Jones Stipe. Well, they talked about making that the interim. My problem with that is two GOATs don't fight for an interim belt. That would be an insult to Stipe and an insult to John to fight for an interim belt. Nah, I'm not having that. I'm either one of those guys. And I don't want it as a fan. I want to see him fight, don't get me wrong. But for an interim belt, you think Gaethje threw the interim belt on the ground? What would Jones or Stipe do? When Gaethje's never been a UFC champ, other than interim. I mean, you want to see a belt get thrown in the garbage, give an interim belt to Stipe or John Jones. It's like a participation trophy, which, by the way, while I'm on the topic, stop giving everyone participation trophies. You don't get trophies for showing up. You get trophies for winning. Winning. That's why you get trophies, not just participating. When you lose, you shouldn't get anything except motivation and inspiration to learn and get better. That's what you get from losing. That's the only thing you should get from losing. There, rant over. I could say 1,000 more things that go along with participation trophies right now, but I'm not going to in the interest of not becoming a troll myself right now. MMA Weekly's live coverage of the UFC 277 official weigh-ins rolls on from Dallas. Just waiting on Julianna Pena. Only Jocelyn Edwards has missed weight on the undercard. The only fighter who has missed weight. Everyone else made it. It was a close call for Lionheart Smith. But Julianna Pena, as the numbers go up in the chat, see, everyone's waiting for the Venezuelan vixen. She's becoming a star. A lot of the comments in the chat, she's got a ton of male fans, to say the least. I'll put that mildly and politely. A ton of male fans in the chat for the Venezuelan vixen. She's being a vixen right now. Maybe a little bit of a diva. Maybe she pushes it right up to the edge and comes out at 11:59. Is she having trouble making weight? Is she playing games with Amanda Nunes? Who knows? Who cares? This is fun. The anticipation. It's a lot of fun. You got the ceremonial weigh-ins coming up later today. And of course, we have our live stream reaction show tomorrow night on MMA Weekly, powered by MyBookie. Just a day away from UFC 277. Make your next bet with MyBookie. The code WEEKLY50 gets you a 50% half deposit match up to $1,000. You bet 1,000, you get 500 free. You bet 100, you get 50 free. I'm not going to do the rest of the math for you. You can figure it out at MyBookie. You got great prop bets. You got some parlays you can play. Derrick Lewis is an underdog. Kai Kara France plus 170. Amanda Nunes only minus 275. And Anthony Lionheart Smith plus 385. Those are some of my favorites. Hey, sometimes you got to take a chance on a live dog and roll the dice. No one would have bet on Julianna Pena, the first fight against Amanda Nunes, except the people who did made a fortune. MyBookie, Weekly 50 the code. MMA Weekly from Dallas. The official weigh-ins, waiting on Vixen from Venezuela, Julianna Pena.
I tweeted that actually.
I think she's coming. And they're getting ready with the, is this a replay or no? They're getting ready for the body cover. This is not Julianna Pena. There's one other fighter coming up before Julianna Pena, and here he comes. I think it's Orion Koske. Koske.
How are you doing?
All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in a prelim in the UFC's welterweight division, Orion Koske.
Or what he said.
172.5, the official weight for Orion Kosi.
So Kosi becomes the second fighter to miss weight. Jocelyn Edwards at 137.5. Both of them 2.5 pounds over. He has no time to make weight. Came right out with the body cover, which, by the way, there should be a picture of Daniel Cormier's face on the body cover. Okay, I'll stop now. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. It's like the Drake and Wayne song. Maybe she will. But there should be. There should be a caricature of DC's face on the front of that thing. But that's the second fighter to miss weight, 2.5 over, so he'll forfeit part of his purse. Has no time. Again, they don't get an hour in Texas with the commission like they do in Vegas. It's only until the end, the scheduled end time of the weigh-ins. And you could see Kosi as he came out with that I missed weight face. And I know the fighters do get ripped for missing weight, and I know it is their job. And it, you know, look, you got to be tough on them, and it has to happen. But man, is it tough, these weight cuts. They are really brutal on these guys and on their bodies. So again, 3 more minutes scheduled here. And waiting on Julianna Pena, Venezuelan vixen, to step on the scale.
All right, our final fighter weighing this morning
she's
is
coming
the
next.
woman around whom this fight card was built. The undisputed UFC bantamweight champion, the Venezuelan vixen, Julianna Pena.
Right there, baby.
134.5, the official weight for Julianna Pena.
1. Thanks, champ. Thank you.
And with that, your UFC 277 main event is official. We will see you guys for the ceremonials, 4 p.m. local time over at the American Airlines Center. One more sleep. We'll see you tomorrow night.
There it is, Julianna Pena, confidently smiling, no body cover needed for the Venezuelan vixen. The bantamweight champ weighs in at 134.5. Our main event, the rematch, is official. Our co-main event is official. Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara France for the interim flyweight title. And of course, Amanda Nunes looking to get back the women's bantamweight title belt from Julianna Pena. So many great fights on this card. UFC 277, Derrick Lewis and Sergei Pavlovich, Alexandre Pantoja and Alex Perez, Magomed Ankalaev and Anthony Smith, and so many more. We will have the ceremonial weigh-ins coming your way at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, and we will have our live stream reaction show tomorrow night. MMA Weekly live in Dallas, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific for that one with Jeff Kane and me. With that, we're going to say goodbye, but first, before we go, we're going to remind you that tomorrow night, Amanda Nunes in the rematch with Julianna Pena, who you just saw step on the scale. Amanda Nunes' legacy is on the line. The last time they met, one of the greatest title upsets in UFC history, and underdog bettors made an absolute killing. Again, tomorrow night, UFC 277. If you're still on the fence about where to play, make your next bet with MyBookie. You can take our analysis, which you absolutely should, or choose from dozens of real fighter predictions so you can make an informed decision and get paid. MyBookie gives you skin in the fight and the picks you need to win. Use promo code WEEKLY50 to grab yourself an deposit bonus with MyBookie and make your bets now. That's promo code WEEKLY50, a half deposit match up to $1,000. You bet $1,000, you get $500 free. You bet $100, you get $50 free from MyBookie and MMA Weekly. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Only 2 fighters missed weight, Jocelyn Edwards and Orion Kosi. Sorry about that. Orion Kosi and Jocelyn Edwards, the only 2 fighters to miss weight. Everybody else made it. Again, we got the ceremonials later today, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Our live stream reaction show tomorrow night on MMA Weekly's YouTube at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Thank you so much to all of you for watching and being in the chat room, bringing it strong today. We love you. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and ring that bell so you know when more content is coming your way from MMA Weekly, wall-to-wall from Dallas, continuing on, powered by MyBookie, with Weekly50 being the code to get the half deposit match for your UFC 277 action with MyBookie. For Scott Peterson, who's in Dallas doing yeoman-like work, I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. You've been watching MMA Weekly's live coverage of the UFC 277 official weigh-ins from Dallas, Texas, powered by MyBookie. We'll see you later today for the ceremonials.